He remembered the night as something unreal, like a dream his mind had invented to escape boredom and loneliness. At that time, the man was only an ordinary human. His name was Aaron Cole. He worked as a systems engineer at a deep space listening station built far from cities and noise. His job was simple: listen to the stars, record strange signals, and send reports that most people would never read. Humanity had been searching for life beyond Earth for centuries, but contact had always remained distant and uncertain. Until that night. The station was quiet as always. The air hummed with machines, lights blinking in slow rhythms. Outside, the sky was full of stars, sharp and cold. Aaron sat alone, drinking stale coffee and watching numbers scroll across his screen. Then everything changed. The instruments screamed warnings. Energy readings spiked beyond anything the system had ever recorded. The sky outside the glass dome twisted as if space itself was folding inward. Light poured down like a living thing, bright and soft at the same time. Aaron stood up, heart pounding. His training told him to run, to call for help, but something else held him still. A calm filled the room, heavy and warm, like a hand pressing gently on his chest. A figure appeared in the center of the room. She was tall, glowing faintly, her form shifting between solid and light. Her eyes were deep and endless, filled with stars Aaron had never seen. She did not wear armor or robes like a queen. She looked simple, almost human, but more perfect than any human could ever be. Aaron knew without being told. This was no alien soldier or explorer. This was a goddess. She looked at him with curiosity, not threat. Her voice echoed directly inside his mind, clear and gentle. "You are not afraid," she said. "I am," Aaron replied honestly, his voice shaking. "But I'm still here." That made her smile. She told him her kind were known as the Eternal Ones, beings born before most stars. They did not rule the galaxy with force. They observed, judged, and guided when necessary. Humanity had reached a turning point. Soon, humans would step fully into the wider galaxy, and the Eternal Ones needed to decide if they would allow it. Aaron asked why she had come to him. "Because you are ordinary," she said, "and yet you stayed." She walked through the station, touching walls and machines as if feeling them for the first time. She asked him questions about Earth, about fear, about love, about why humans fought wars and still helped strangers. Aaron answered honestly. He spoke of mistakes, of cruelty, but also of hope. He spoke of people who chose kindness even when it hurt them. Time felt strange. Minutes stretched into hours or maybe seconds. The galaxy outside seemed distant and unimportant. At some point the goddess sat beside him. Her glow softened. She listened, truly listened, in a way no superior officer or distant leader ever had. "You feel deeply," she said. "Your kind suffers greatly, yet you continue." "We don't know how to stop," Aaron replied. "But we try." That answer changed something in her. The encounter was not violent, not explicit, not forbidden. It was quiet and personal, a meeting of two beings sharing understanding. For a brief moment something connected them: mind, emotion, existence. Not a ritual. Not a conquest, a choice. When it ended she stood again, her light growing brighter. "I will remember you," she said, "and you're kind." Then she was gone. The station returned to normal. The readings vanished. The sky looked the same as it always had. Aaron reported the event, of course. The higher-ups dismissed it as a hallucination caused by radiation exposure. His data logs were corrupted. No proof remained. Life went on. Years passed. Humanity slowly stepped into the stars. Trade routes formed. Alien species were confirmed. Small wars were fought and ended. Aaron left the listening station and moved on, carrying the memory like a secret he no longer spoke of. He told himself it had been a dream, until the ships arrived. They appeared without warning, massive and silent, hanging above Earth's atmosphere like moons made of light. No weapons activated. No threats broadcast. Every system on the planet froze under a pressure no technology could resist. Then a message spread across every screen, every language, every mind. We return. Panic swept the planet. Militaries prepared for the worst. Governments collapsed into confusion. Aaron felt something deep inside him awaken. A familiar calm, a memory he had buried. The ships descended slowly, landing in open areas across the world. From the largest one, a single figure emerged. She walked forward, unchanged by time. The goddess. She was no longer alone. In her arms, she carried a child. The child was small, wrapped in simple fabric that shimmered faintly. When the child lifted its head, the crowd gasped. The face was human. The eyes were human. And the shape of the child's face, the expression, the small scar above the eyebrow, it was Aaron's face. The goddess looked directly at him, even across the distance and chaos. Her voice filled the air, calm and steady. "I have returned," she said, "not as a judge but as a mother." The world held its breath. Aaron took a step forward, his legs weak, his heart racing. He did not understand how it was possible. He did not understand the rules of gods or galaxies. He only understood one thing. Whatever that night had been, it had changed the fate of humanity forever. And the child in her arms was proof. The world did not end that day, but it changed in ways no one could fully understand. After the goddess appeared, time seemed to slow. Military leaders shouted orders that no one could carry out. Weapons stayed silent, frozen by forces far beyond human control. Satellites went blind. Radios failed. Yet there was no pain, no destruction, only a heavy stillness that pressed down on the planet. Aaron stood among soldiers and officials, feeling very small. He had never wanted attention. Now the eyes of the world were on him, even if most people did not yet know his name. The goddess walked forward, her steps light, barely touching the ground. With each step, the pressure in the air eased, allowing people to breathe again. She stopped a short distance from Aaron. The child in her arms looked around with quiet curiosity, not fear. "This is not an invasion," the goddess said. "We have come to speak." Her words echoed inside every mind, translated without effort. Panic softened into confusion. Aaron found his voice. "Why now?" he asked. "Why come back like this?" She looked at him, and for the first time her expression held something close to uncertainty. "Because the child has reached the moment where choice begins," she said, "and because others have noticed." That single sentence sent a ripple of tension through the air. Within hours, representatives from Earth's major powers were brought together under the open sky. The goddess allowed it. She allowed ships to fly again, communications to resume. Humanity's leaders stood before her, trying to appear strong while standing in the presence of something older than history. She introduced herself by a name that could not be fully spoken by human mouths, so they called her Lyra. The child's name, she said, was Kale. Kale watched the humans with wide eyes. When he saw Aaron again, his face lit up with recognition that made Aaron's chest ache. The child reached out a small hand toward him. Aaron stepped closer without thinking. When Kale's fingers wrapped around his, a strange warmth spread through him. Not power, not energy, something emotional, familiar. "He knows you," Lyra said softly, "not as a god knows a creation, but as a child knows a parent." The word hit Aaron harder than any weapon ever could. Across the galaxy, the news spread fast. The Eternal Ones had broken their own laws. A child had been born from a union that should not exist. Other ancient species reacted with fear. The Council of Ascendants, an alliance of powerful non-human civilizations, sent their observers within days. Their ships were sharp and dark, built for war even when pretending peace. They did not land gently. They arrived as a warning. Aaron was taken to a secure location along with Lyra and Kale. Not a prison, but not freedom either. Earth's leaders wanted answers. The alien council wanted control. Kale grew restless in confined spaces. Walls made him uneasy. When he cried, lights flickered. Gravity bent slightly like the world itself was listening to his emotions. Lyra never looked afraid, but Aaron noticed how closely she watched the child. "You did not tell me everything," Aaron said to her during a quiet moment. She nodded. "I hoped I would not need to." She explained that Kale was not powerful in the way gods were powerful. He could not destroy stars or reshape reality. Instead, he could feel deeply. He could sense intent, pain, truth. He could connect minds without force. "That is why they fear him," Lyra said. "Empathy is dangerous to those who rule through distance." The Council of Ascendants finally spoke. They appeared as towering forms of metal and flesh, their voices cold and layered. They did not speak to Aaron at first. They addressed Lyra. "You have created imbalance," they said. "The child must be taken, studied, controlled." Kale clutched Aaron's sleeve. Aaron felt anger rise, sharp and sudden. "No," Aaron said before anyone else could. "He's not an object." The council turned their attention to him, surprised. "You are nothing," one voice replied. "A brief life, a fragile body." Aaron met their gaze. His hands shook, but he did not look away. "Maybe," he said, "but I'm here, and he's my responsibility too." That word echoed in the chamber. Responsibility. Lyra watched him, something like pride in her eyes. Earth's leaders were divided. Some wanted protection from the council. Others feared angering beings that could erase worlds. Many feared the child himself. Kale sensed it all. That night the sky above the facility lit with strange colors as Kale cried in his sleep. Storms formed and faded in seconds. Tides shifted across the planet. It was not destruction. It was reaction. Aaron stayed beside him, speaking softly, telling stories about Earth. About rain, about oceans, about people who tried even when they failed. Kale calmed. Lyra watched quietly. "You ground him," she said. "You remind him that small things matter." The council returned with an ultimatum. Hand over the child or Earth would be isolated from the galaxy forever. Trade cut, protection removed. Humanity left alone against future threats. Fear spread like fire. Aaron stood before the world again, this time with Kale in his arms. Cameras watched. Aliens observed. Gods listened. "He's not a weapon," Aaron said. "He's not a threat, he's proof." "Proof of what?" someone asked. "That even gods can change," Aaron replied, "and that humans matter enough to leave a mark." Kale looked up at the crowd and reached outward, not with power but with feeling. For a moment everyone felt it. Fear, hope, loneliness, love, all shared, all real. Some people cried, some fell to their knees. The council recoiled, disturbed. Lyra stepped forward. "This is what you cannot control," she said. "This is what you cannot erase." Silence followed. The council withdrew to deliberate, shaken by something they had not felt in ages. Aaron held Kale closer, knowing this was far from over. But for the first time since the ships arrived, humanity was not just reacting. It was being seen. And somewhere deep among the stars, ancient powers were beginning to understand that humans were no longer insignificant, not because they were strong, but because they could change even gods. The waiting was worse than fear. After the Council of Ascendants withdrew, Earth stood in a fragile silence. Their ships did not leave. They remained at the edge of the system, watching, judging. Trade lanes stayed closed. Long-range sensors showed movement across nearby star regions. Other powers were paying attention now. Humanity had been noticed. Aaron felt the weight of it every day. He stayed with Kale as much as possible. The child grew faster than any human child should, not in size but in awareness. Kale spoke early, his words careful and thoughtful, as if he listened more than he talked. He asked questions that had no easy answers. "Why are they afraid of me?" Kale asked one night while looking up at the stars through a reinforced window. Aaron thought carefully before answering. "Because they don't understand you," he said, "and some people fear what they can't control." Kale was quiet for a long time. "I don't want to hurt anyone." "I know," Aaron said, "and that matters more than anything else." Lyra watched these moments with a strange mix of sadness and hope. Among her kind, children were rare and distant things, born fully formed and guided by ancient certainty. Kale was different. He learned by living, by feeling, by being human. The council returned at last, but they did not come with threats. They came with warnings. A force older than even the Ascendants was moving. A silent wave spreading through star systems, stripping civilizations of emotion, leaving behind empty societies that still lived, but no longer cared. Worlds that had once burned bright with culture became cold and obedient. The Eternal Ones had fought it before and failed. Pure power could not stop it. This force feeds on separation, the Council explained, on distance, on the belief that others do not matter. Kale listened closely, his small hands clenched. "It hurts people," he said softly. "Yes," one of the Council replied. "And it will reach this system within a few cycles." Earth's leaders demanded to know why they should trust the Council now. "Because for the first time," Lyra said, "we have something new." She placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. A bridge. The plan was dangerous. Kale would not fight the force with strength but with connection. He would enter the wave at its edge, carrying human emotion, human choice, into something that had never felt either. The risk was clear. He might not return. Aaron felt the fear hit him like a physical blow. "He's a child," he said. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," Lyra said gently, "but he will not be alone." Kale looked up at Aaron. "I want to help," he said. "You taught me that helping matters." Aaron knelt in front of him, struggling to keep his voice steady. "Helping doesn't mean sacrificing yourself," he said. Kale smiled in a small, familiar way. "You would go if you could," he said. Aaron had no answer to that. Humanity surprised the galaxy next. Earth did not hide, it did not beg, it volunteered. Thousands of humans stepped forward, scientists, soldiers, artists, ordinary people, offering to link their minds with Kale, to share memory and emotion, to strengthen the bridge. The Ascendants were stunned. "No species has ever done this willingly," they said. Aaron stood among them. "That's because no one ever asked us," he replied. The connection was built not as a machine but as a network of shared experience. Stories, music, memories of loss and love, failures and hope, all simple, all human. Kale stood at the center. When the moment came, the stars dimmed. The wave arrived like a shadow swallowing light. Kale stepped forward, holding Aaron's hand until the last possible second. "I'll come back," Kale said. "I'll be here," Aaron replied. Kale entered the wave. Across the galaxy, something changed. The force hesitated. For the first time, it felt resistance not as energy but as meaning. It encountered grief that still chose kindness, fear that still chose courage, pain that still chose to care. The wave slowed. Then it began to break apart, not destroyed but transformed. Its emptiness filled with echoes of humanity. Kale returned. He collapsed into Aaron's arms, exhausted but alive. The galaxy exhaled. In the days that followed, the Council of Ascendants made an announcement that shocked every known civilization. Humanity was no longer classified as a minor species. Earth was declared a protected world. More than that, humans were invited to take a permanent seat in galactic matters, not because they were powerful but because they were necessary. Lyra stood before Earth's skies one final time, Kale beside her, Aaron close. "My people once believed we were above all others," she said. "Now we know we were incomplete." Kale looked at Aaron. "I want to stay," he said. Aaron smiled through tears. "Then stay," Lyra nodded. "So will I," she said. The goddess chose a home among humans. And across the stars, civilizations whispered a new truth, that the smallest species had changed the fate of the galaxy, not by force, not by fear, but by reminding even gods what it meant to care.